they've been asking, release the files, release the files. They're obsessed with the Epstein files. Well, this falls under the category of be careful what you wish for, never Trumpers. You just might get it. And we have right now, and I'm going to break this down and cover this on my show today. So make sure you're subscribed, click that notification bell. I'll be taking live calls on this. So we've got the latest Epstein file right here. Listen to this. Breaking. Epstein file confirms Donald Trump blew the whistle on Jeffrey Epstein in a 2006 phone call with police. Listen to this. This is great. Okay. Trump said, this is in the official documents from the Epstein files. Trump said Maxwell was Epstein's operative. Trump said this, she, meaning Ghislaine Maxwell, Trump said Maxwell was Epstein's operative. She is evil, and to focus on her. Trump was one of the very first people to call when people found out that they were investigating Epstein. And this is from 2006. There you have it. That's it. I'll read through the whole document, but those are the parts about this document with Trump. Now, what they might say, Trump's mentioned. Yeah, he's mentioned by name twice in those two sentences I read, but both of them are him telling police about this creep. So the name of the person who was interviewed is redacted, okay? So since I don't have their name, since the name of the person who was interviewed is redacted, I'll just refer to them as redacted. I'll read the full document. I'll read the two sentences again, then I'll go through the full document. This is from the latest Epstein files release. Trump said Maxwell was Epstein's operative. She is evil, and to focus on her, Trump was one of the very first people to call the police when people found out they were investigating Epstein. Oh boy, so let me go through this. Redacted knew Epstein was disgusting. Trump said Maxwell was Epstein's operative. She is evil, and to focus on her. This is what he told police. Trump told Redacted that he was around Epstein once when teenagers were present, and Trump got the hell out of there. Trump was one of the very first people to call when people found out they were investigating Epstein. So Trump called about this in particular. No one could explain how Epstein made his money. They knew he worked for Bear Stearns. Redacted was told that Epstein was kind of a technical guy that would make it happen, but you didn't want to know how. None of the victims that the Palm Beach Police Department spoke with said they had sexual contact with men other than Epstein while in Epstein's orbit. Redacted had one time went out screaming. Prince Andrew was a fixture in Palm Beach, and he had no protection while there. Redacted has done interviews in the past with another redacted first and last name. Victims thought that the Palm Beach Police Department was paid off by Epstein, which was why Redacted went and did these interviews. He felt he needed to defend the Palm Beach Police Department. An interior designer told the Palm Beach Police Department that rooms in the Virgin Islands had been decorated for teenage girls. Redacted contacted the Virgin Island Police Department, but they were not helpful. In the end, when Epstein had turned himself in to plead to the misdemeanor, Redacted was not notified and found out from the newspaper. But right here in the first paragraph, Trump said Maxwell was Epstein's operative and said she is evil and to focus on her. Trump was one of the very first people to call when people found out they were investigating Epstein, meaning calling the police. So there you have it. I'm going to go through this at the top of the show today. And I know what they'll say. Oh, Trump's mentioned one, two, like three times in the first paragraph, but it's in the context of turning Epstein in to the police. These pervert trolls, they don't want to hear this. They will tune this out because this does not fit their narrative. Now we know why Biden didn't release these, right? Because they clear President Trump. Welcome, everyone. My name's Brian. And of course, this is where MAGA comes to talk. So if you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe, because I am going to go over this document on my main live stream today when I'm in the studio. And I'm just now having my morning coffee and doing my show prep. When I'm in the studio, I'll be covering this. I'll read through this in detail. We will take your calls. And, you liberal never Trumper trolls, you're welcome to call in and apologize to President Trump for all your slanders of him, or maybe perhaps commend President Trump for turning Epstein into the police. So, you're welcome to do that, you trolls out there. Oh, my goodness. That is absolutely a great story. But you know what it is with the left? The left don't care about truth. They're consumed by hate and when things counter what they want to believe, they just tune them out as if they did not happen. That's how they operate. But that's not how we operate. We operate with the truth, and we've got the greatest president ever right now as our president. And I tell you, we're just so lucky to have him right now. Yeah, Doc and a long list of people. I could take calls for weeks from liberals just calling in to apologize, Pilot Mike. No question about it. Oh, man, I tell you. So I'm not the only one up at 3:29 a.m. I slept in. I woke up at 2 a.m. today and still reading through the news. I'm out of coffee creamer, so I'm drinking my coffee black, which I hate. So I'm behind on my coffee. I've not had as much coffee as I normally would being up this long because I don't have coffee creamer. Ugh. The taste of coffee without coffee creamer. It's not the worst thing I've ever tasted, but, this new Epstein document that yet again, how many times does Trump have to be cleared, right? How many times does Trump have to be cleared? And I will tell you this, okay? And I'm serious about this. One of the reasons when these never Trumpers call about Epstein and mention Trump, there's one word that I will not allow on the air for people to use, and that's pedophile. Don't use that word, all right? And then we can have a discussion. It's just not it's not an appropriate word to use when we're talking about Trump and the Epstein files, because Trump turned the guy. How many times do we want to hear? We hear in the files right there that he turned him in to the police. Mike Johnson leaked out confidential information that President Trump was a informant for the FBI on it, and that is the latest document release. But there's certain words and things that just aren't appropriate in a discussion on a program, and that's one of the words. So don't use that word, and we'll have a conversation. But I think these never Trumpers can't help themselves. They just, for some reason, they love saying that word. Just a very strange thing, but that's how they are. This is the deal. President Trump has done more to help victims of sexual assault than any man who's ever lived. In both terms. Most recently in this term, shutting down the southern border illegal immigration stopped all the victimization of women and young girls on the path here that were being assaulted, many of them several times, along the route to America. Many of them were being brought here to be put in sexual servitude in this country. That's all stopped. Right there. That is no single man who has ever lived has stopped more sexual abuse of women than Donald Trump just with shutting down the southern border. That's it. One of the first things he did in his first term was he shut down Backpage. Remember that? Backpage is where it was a global website where sex traffickers advertised their victims for prostitution. Trump shut that down in his first term. How many women and girls were saved from abuse just by that. No individual man who has ever lived in the history of humanity has stopped the abuse of women in the numbers that President Trump has. No one even close. He's done it on a scale that no single person has ever done. And he deserves credit for that, doesn't he? It's true. Make sure you subscribe if you are new to the channel. There's some new things with Bad Bunny. I'm not going to focus too much on Bad Bunny today, although a lot of people were off yesterday, the day after the Super Bowl. You're welcome to call in about it today on the program. But these lyrics of Bad Bunny's that are coming out, oh my goodness! And why did Bad Bunny purge his entire Instagram? He deleted all his Instagram posts, all of them. What was up there that he didn't want people to see? And, you know, the thing about Bad Bunny, because I've seen that Super Bowl performance of his twice, okay? And the music's got a good beat to it, but his singing, his actual singing, isn't it kind of amateurish? Isn't it kind of like amateur hour? Nah. I mean, you got him up there, Ricky Martin singing in Spanish. That's an artist. You know, that's top tier performance. But Bad Bunny is, I thought, mediocre. And I've seen some people on X singing the Bad Bunny songs in English. What juvenile lyrics. It's like 12-year-olds wrote these lyrics. Very juvenile, not poetic at all. He is a mediocre talent who is a one-hit wonder type, if even that. And he's getting a little more legs to it because there's a controversy involved. So the liberals are circling the wagons as if they're the biggest, Big Bunny, or Bad Bunny's the biggest, baddest performer ever in history. It was 100% sucked, yeah. And the translation of his lyrics and the language is just appalling. Just appalling. I was trying to figure out in that performance when he climbed the power lines, what was that about? What was the significance of the power lines? I don't know why they had that. There's power lines that he climbed the pole. I didn't quite get that imagery. But, you know, his message at the end when he went through the names of all the countries in North and South America and Central America and some of the Caribbean nations, he's saying at the end that all of North and South America are America, that we're not America. And that's absurd, right? You got two continents. So we're not America. Everything belongs to all of America. The only reason they say that is because they want all of our wealth in this country. It's so how convenient. The United States is not America. It's all America. Really? Colombia and all that's America? And I don't think so. They just want our wealth. You know, South America, they have all the resources that we have in North America, right? So they're third world, not because of lack of resources. They're third world because it's the culture. You know, the culture is a culture of corruption. Sad to say, but it's true. You know, the United States and Canada are first world countries, but Central and South America have all the resources that we have in the United States and Canada. So why are we first world and they're third world when they have all the same everything that we have resource-wise? It's because the culture is a culture of corruption. It's just not a modern, civilized first world culture. That's it, right? I mean, what other explanation is it? I mean, they want to tell you that the United States stole the wealth of the Americas. They've got everything we've got. When I say resources, I'm talking about natural resources, climate, oil, all kinds of things, you know. And remember, Venezuela is an OPEC nation. They say that Venezuela has more oil than we have, and we've got more than Saudi Arabia in the United States. That's the only thing that you can point. It's got to be the culture. It's a culture of corruption. I mean, where in Latin America is it not corrupt? Exactly. It's you know, But they want to blame us for their problems. But I still stick to my main thesis yesterday was that the main message of Bad Bunny that they were trying to, it was total propaganda, saying that what they were trying to spread was this idea that the United States has been conquered by the Latin American illegal border invaders, and this is not our country anymore, that the Latinos have taken it over. Well, sadly, that's not true. If Donald Trump had not won re-election, they would have been right. That would have happened. But the conquering of the United States was stopped by President Trump when he shut down the border and started the mass deportations. Let me ask you guys, with the Guthrie kidnapping saga, the deadline came and went, with the ransom, which seems to be kind of bogus. Do you think yes or no, do you think a family member is responsible for Nancy Guthrie's, whatever her status is right now? We'll consider her to be missing at this point. Do you believe, yes or no, do you think it's probably a family member? Yeah. The whole family need to take a lie detector test. Yeah, looks that way. Yeah. Look at that, all yeses. Absolutely. That's what it seems like. And that's the case in most instances. I mean, if she were a younger woman, people might say, well, maybe she met some guy online or something like that. But yeah. Well, I hope that they find her alive, and that would be amazing. I mean, listen, they Elizabeth Smart was recovered, found alive. That was a miracle. Who would have thought? Jessica Lynch in Operation Iraqi Freedom, that was amazing. And so these things have happened. They were younger women. But, I haven't heard any reporter ask in any of these press conferences if all of her medications were still there, or did whoever left with her leave with the medications. I haven't heard anybody ask. I mean, I would assume no, but no one's asked. Evil. Well, usually these things, most murders are about sex or money. And most murders are done by somebody in the immediate circle of the victim. Almost every one of them. That's the way it is. There's almost always one of those two reasons, and always, in almost every instance, in the immediate circle. And in this instance, I would guess money. We'll find out soon. I mean, how much longer can this go on? If, they tore the house apart of the sister on Saturday night, so now it's Tuesday already. So they've had to have gotten some preliminary results, and I find it interesting. I saw a report yesterday that two things about the son-in-law. One, I saw a report yesterday that he's not been seen since Tuesday last week, so that would be a week today, that he's not been seen out in public in a week. But then I was watching one panel discussion online on YouTube yesterday, and they referred a couple of times to the son-in-law as the sister's partner, not husband. So are they not married? And they've only been together like 3 years or so. So if they've only been together, are they married or not? Because I've heard son-in-law and husband, but then yesterday I heard partner. Partner, you don't refer to someone who's married as a partner typically, do you? And then I heard that they, in one report, they'd only been married 3 years. I don't know how long they were together before that. But, like my wife and I, this year will be our 30th wedding anniversary. So our each of us have known each other's parents most of our life. So you got a tight family connection. If you've only been together 3 years, you don't have that same connection necessarily if you're a degenerate criminal type. So I don't know, but he's obviously the lead suspect. I mean, the police think so. That's why they took his car and went into the house. I'd like to see that case wrapped up with the good news that they recover her alive. That would be amazing. But I don't see how that's possible. This case would have been resolved much sooner if the sheriff wasn't such a clown. Now, why does anyone know why Bad Bunny deleted all his Instagram posts? I mean, totally wiped. Only thing he left on his Instagram is his follower count. What was he hiding? What did he delete? Must have had some things up there that he didn't want people to spend a lot of time looking at. It'll be 30 years in December, so we're a ways off. It's only February, but 30 years in December. Yeah. Yeah, the Bad Bunny, the cop's an embarrassment. Bad Bunny's an embarrassment. Yeah, the sheriff and Bad Bunny are both embarrassments. That's for sure. That's for sure. Now, my lead story today, and you can see I've already got the live stream set up with the thumbnail. I'm going to go over the new Epstein files that totally clear Trump again, and I will be in the studio taking calls. So, all of the Never Trumpers that have been demanding the files. Today is your day to call in and apologize to President Trump for your slanders. Okay, and you're welcome to do that. My name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'll see you in a bit. Thanks for watching.